Uh, Welcome to Zegama. We are here with Kimmel from Asics, United States. Bienvenida, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Megan is already a veteran of Zegama. She was here a few years ago in 2010. And also today we've got a beautiful sunshine and blue skies. Of course, Zegama for Sunday is expected to be muddy and rainy as usual, right?
Yes.
So we were discussing, you come from Colorado, you're used to mountains, to high altitude, but I think it might be interesting because you've already run at Sierre Sinal in Switzerland, which is a flatter kind of race. When coming back and forth across the ocean, is it still true that there are two different styles among trail running between the Americans and the Europeans, or is it coming together more and more?
I think it's coming together, but yes, I think America comes from more of a distance background as far as even just our training goes and our terrain. It's kind of, it's easier to go a long distance than in Europe here. I mean, everything is more condensed. Everything is a bit steeper, and yeah, things tend to be a little bit more technical to get through all the terrain. So I think now with the whole sport growing and the world becoming more connected, even just through internet, we're now aware of a lot more. And it's so now knowing what's going on in the other countries, it gives Americans, as far as races, race directors, and even runners themselves, a new idea of what is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, for example, myself as a popular runner, I've been able to run probably the most popular ultras, both at Colorado, which is the epicenter of American trail running, and at the Alps. I've run the 100 miles of Mont Blanc, I've run the 100 miles of Leadville, and funny enough, it took me 28 hours for the 100 miles at Leadville, and it took me 38 hours for being the same run. Do you think that's due to the terrain or the verticality? Because we've got a debate going on in Europe whether with just the distance and the positive climb, is it relevant enough only, and should we add a third axis, which is the technicality, the terrain, call it whatsoever? Do you think that would be fair? To better have a broad picture, and do you think it's not that necessary? How do you feel?
Well, I think that there's multiple categories. If you do have the distance, and then so in America you have a lot of just long distance, and the terrain is not so much a factor. It's more the distance, say like Western states. And then you have some with the verticality as well. So you have terrain within vertical, like gaining and losing elevation, and then you have technical races. So so to bring them all into one, to me, seems to be
unfair, limited.
No, just I'm not sure if it will ever happen, because you choose a category to go to,
Okay.
So you have technical runners, you have long distance runners, and you have runners that are good going uphill. So it's an athlete that chooses whether they can do it all or what they like to do.
Yeah, which is basically the sky running concept these days, which is vertical series, then you've got ultra sky, you've got sky races, and now you have the sky running extreme.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, it's a good example.
Yeah. All right. Now, you are a Coloradoan yourself?
Yes.
And how very important is Colorado for because sometimes in Europe we think about the United States, but basically the influence of Colorado is, I don't know how to say it, humongous, outstanding, because not only the runners raced at Colorado, but also those that choose to train and live over in Colorado. For example, the new Nike trail running team, which is taking over European races, are coming from there. Like Zach Miller, Tim Tollefson. What is special about Colorado? Because it's not quite a province as we consider it in Spain. It's rather a continent. It's a very complex state.
Yeah, Colorado, it does have the terrain that you can race any of the levels of racing you want to, distance, vertical, and technical, if you choose. And I think that's the big difference. The whole state is at say what they call an optimal altitude of 6,000 feet. And it tends to be a very active state anyway. So, you know, like minds do the like things. So much like I feel like Europe is a very outdoors based area of the world, Colorado is the same compared to many of the other states in America.
All right. Now, as for European races, we will soon meet again at Chamonix in just about 1 month, I think, for a different challenge. So I think it would be good for our international friends who maybe not be that familiar with the Asics Beat the Sun Chamonix challenge. Would you be kind enough to summarize it for them?
Yeah, Beat the Sun is in its 3rd year, and the challenge is to run around Mont Blanc on the longest day of the year, which is the solstice, which ends up being, I think, around 15 or 16 hours to go, or about 160 kilometers. And it's a relay rather than an individual race, and it's separated at this point into continents. So it's a challenge to beat the sun, and at this point there's an extra challenge of having it be a race between continents.
And funny enough, I think we've got the contest quite rigged, because will you be in the North American team?
Yes.
And her 2 partners will be Ryan Hall and Dina Castor. I understand, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Give me a break. I mean, impressive. I mean, Spain has a great runner, which is Pablo Villalobos, who is a 2 hours 13 minutes marathoner. But I mean, Ryan and Dina and you, whoa.
Yes, but you guys do have you guys have the benefit of knowing the terrain. You do, yeah. You know, Ryan and Deanna, they're road runners. You know, so we'll see how excited they are to run up in the mountains.
Okay, it will be great to be there and share. Now, as for Zegama, it's going to be a beautiful race. Among the guys, we've got 2 heavy favorites, which are basically Kilian and Roemi. I would say that among the women's race, it's quite more open. No? Do you feel like? Or
yeah.
If we were to point somebody, I would point as a journalist, probably Oyana, because she's at her home race, Azara, which was the former champion last year. What else would you point out? How would you consider yourself when sizing up against them?
I think that both of those ladies have a strong chance of winning because of exactly what you described, and they're amazing athletes, period. So, and I think they have the advantage of knowing this terrain. So, before I even knew he was going to be at this race, I thought the Spanish were the ones to beat here because they have the skills and they know, and they're strong. So.
Okay. Will we have you over at the World Championships at Portugal? Because I was able to cover the track and field trail championships last year at France, Annecy. And funny enough, the American team was able to grasp a medal, the guys. They took it basically away from the Spaniards. So do you think it would be possible for you to join the national team, or you haven't been considering that?
I haven't really been considering it because I have a pretty full schedule right now, and I'm trying to avoid what happened last year, which was too many races in a short amount of time in the summer. So rather than racing every other weekend like last year, I'm trying to spread them out more.
All right. And last but not least, considering the technical challenges of a Zegama Muddy, what shoes are you going to choose? Because it's quite complex.
Yeah, it is. I think I'll probably end up running my first race in the Fuji Renegades.
All right.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to actually giving those a good try because they're a really good shoe this year. They made quite a bit of improvements from last year, and so for once I'll be leaving the Fuji racers in the hotel room.
Okay. Did you have a chance to test the endurance, the new endurance this year, or not yet?
I have, yeah, but I haven't given it enough of a try to give a solid opinion on it.
Okay.
You know, the trail season's still in Colorado. It's more snow than it is dry.
Yeah.
So a lot of my training has been in areas where I've been relying more on the Fuji Pro as it is.
Right.
Yeah. Nice shoe.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Megan, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.